Person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law.
They had two people going through my books in each room.
So how is it that the government can take the property of this engineer
looking for a hidden stash of cash
and this grandfather,
handcuff me and spend 10 hours in there searching my house,
when they haven't been charged with a crime?
This is my research.
Wally Kowalski is a PhD researcher, author, and consultant, a man who knows a lot of things.
I helped develop bioweapon defense systems after the 9/11 anthrax attacks.
What he can't understand is how the Michigan State Police could freeze his bank accounts and take his property, as they did one afternoon in this quiet hamlet in Van Buren County.
My father fought the Nazis and fascism in World War II, and I was just struck by the irony that my house was full of face masks, jackbooted men with guns searching through all my belongings and looking to do me harm financially.
For 2 months now, Kowalski has had no access to his money. No money to pay his medical bills, his college loans, his taxes, the renovation work on his farmhouse. He recently married a woman from Africa and can't pay her visa and travel fees so she and her children can come to Michigan.
Why isn't there a sheet of paper that tells me what I should do or what my court date is or what they want me to do? How can they just freeze my assets and leave me no means of paying my debts?
Kowalski had to hire an attorney.
Forfeiture is very common. In cases where there's not been criminal charges brought, it's somewhat less common, but it does happen.
Attorney Daniel Groh is now representing 2 clients who have had property seized without being charged with a crime. Many cases involved alleged violations of Michigan's medical marijuana law.
They raided a dispensary up in Battle Creek where I used to run a compassion club 3 years before. And somehow they got my name off of a piece of paper from back when I rented the building.
Thomas Williams has been missing his assets for 1 year. Police took his cash, his car, his computer, his phone. It was a real problem because he lives alone in a rural area.
It's a major inconvenience. I couldn't get to a store. I was 3-4 days without even being in touch with anybody.
This is the opposite of our constitutional freedoms. They should have good reason to treat someone like a criminal and not take an average person who's trying to abide by the law and treat them as if they are the worst criminal in the country. I don't want to grow in a greenhouse. I want to grow outdoors using solar energy.
Kowalski is a medical marijuana patient and a caregiver to 4 other people. Police say they spotted his medical marijuana plants from a helicopter. Kowalski prefers to grow outdoors and thought he was following the law by enclosing his garden with a 5-foot barbed wire fence. One day, he came home from doing errands to find a regiment of police surrounding his property.
And I came up to them and I told them, I'm a legitimate marijuana grower. I've got cards, what's going on here? And they asked me to sign a search warrant. So I signed it. I didn't think I had anything to hide.
They searched his house from top to bottom, including each one of his 3,000 books. They searched for weapons, illegal drugs, evidence of a meth lab, and found none.
But when they found my bank accounts up here in my office, they let out a yell. They said, "Here's the bank accounts. We've got them." It's like the happiest thing for them to find my bank account papers.
They destroyed his plants and said he needed a roof over the barbed fence.
I wasn't arrested. They didn't take away my medical marijuana card, but they took away my tools. They took away all my expensive tools, I would call them auctionable tools. They took away my earth auger, which I used for drilling post holes, saying I could drill holes for potting plants, for growing pot plants in. But they didn't take away my spade or my shovel. They didn't take away my dirty gloves or my dirty boots. They took away my Coleman generator, which we need for power outages out here. And it had never been used for anything else. And I asked them why. Why are you taking my Coleman generator? And they could not give me an answer. They just went mum.
Marijuana is, how I put it, the largest cash cow for law enforcement as you think about civil asset forfeiture. Our command and drug task forces.
Major Neil Franklin is a 34-year law enforcement veteran who led a drug enforcement team for the state police in Maryland.
Back then, we at least we did charge most of those people with crimes before we took their property. Today we're taking property from people across this country and not charging them with crimes because we have no evidence on them that they're committing crimes.
Civil asset forfeitures have become a reliable source of revenue for government. The money gets pumped back into law enforcement, giving it more resources to seize more assets. In 2013, civil asset forfeitures in the state generated more than $20 million to Michigan law enforcement. Tom Williams was told he could get his stuff back for a fee, 10% of the value, about $5,000. Or he could fight it in court, but that presents another problem.
He has a right to remain silent in the criminal proceeding, but to get his stuff back in the forfeiture proceeding, we have to present evidence and have discovery and answer interrogatories and could be depositions or who knows what.
The state police nor the prosecutor responded to requests for an on-camera interview, but the commander of the unit that raided Kowalski's and Williams' home said by phone, quote, "People are operating under the guise of medical marijuana, truly just trying to make money using medical marijuana, thinking that will protect them."
If they really wanted to make sure I'd never grow again, they should have taken all these materials and supplies.
Wally Kowalski would like his day in court.
I would rather they charged me and we went to court and I told my side of the story. I'd rather take my chances with a judge in Van Buren County or even a jury than have to be dictated to by the Michigan State Police.